What's good, people? Agent Juice reporting for duty. We are now back with our regularly scheduled Road to Meanie and Happyland, where we will cover in this episode something vile and horrible, something no good and very bad. And what exactly is that, you ask? It's the tweakening. What is the tweakening? The tweakening is the boring part of creating something. The tweakening is when you have all your elements, you've made everything you got, you have your first draft, and now you have to tweak. You know, you have to make little corrections, you have to rewrite, you have to make this little move, you gotta make that little change. And it's just a bunch of little nickel and dimes that aren't really interesting. It's tedious. You know, it's absolutely necessary, but it's totally tedious. In short, it is the suck you must truck through in order to go from a first draft Ferdinand to a final draft Felix. Oh look, kids. The illustrious final draft Felix has decided to grace our ungrateful, meager eyeballs with his presence.
Indeed I have, plebeians.
Well, now that you're here, do you want to say something to the class about final drafts?
You see, I would, but unfortunately you have yet to produce a final draft of your own, so I see no point. Good day.
What a drama queen, am I right? So anyway, yeah, the tweakening. The tweakening is the suck. It is the same shit, different day. You know when you're calling like your parents or friends that you haven't seen in a bit and they ask what you're up to and there's not really anything you're up to, you're just kind of in the middle of a long, arduous thing, and you just say, you know, nothing really, same shit, different day. And they might call you back later in the week or month or whatever and still nothing. It's like, it's not like you're, you know, not doing anything. It's not like you are making lazy on Rolf's stump or anything like that. It's that you're making minute adjustments that really don't have a story behind them, you know. It's not like when I'm, you know, first making character designs and it's just like, oh, I got this new exciting character design I'm going to sketch up. Or like, ooh, an environmental piece. Or like, ooh, would be a really interesting plot point to add in the story. You know, everything is done, but it's not perfected. So now it's just like the polishing. The unfortunate part of it is that it's the least sexiest part I have found in making Meanie and Happyland, but it's also the most necessary, because without, you know, the minute adjustments that you got to make, it's never going to be a final product. You know, it'll forever be a pipe dream. There is this really great quote from, and I'm going to heavily paraphrase it because I'm just trying to recall the gist of it, but it's from Yahtzee Croshaw, you know, the dude who does the zero punctuation. He was doing a podcast or something. Anyway, he was mentioning about, because he's also an author, he's also written books, and he said that there comes a point where the you know, it stops being fun and it becomes the work, but you got to do the work anyway. You know, you have to slug through it, and there's nothing really exciting or new or interesting going on. It's just the tweakening, the dreaded, horrid tweakening. And you got to get through it. Oh, man, you know. And I found that the tweakening requires a lot of different steps. It requires rereading. Obviously, it requires, you know, making dialogue less clunky. But there is a crucial step within the tweakening that must occur before you can really make the next step into a final product. And that is getting eyeballs on your work. You know, whether it's artistically or script-wise, you basically need to get help. You know, I've mentioned before, but I got a friend who's a writer. He's been the guy I've been back and forthing with this script. He's, you know, I've given it to him to read, and, you know, he's given me notes and ideas. And we've kind of reached a point where it's like his eyeballs have taken it as far as they can be took, if that sentence even makes sense. Basically, we kind of mutually agreed that, like, just between me and him, this is as far as I can kind of take the script. And now I need to find another pair of eyeballs. And so unfortunately, I've kind of found myself, even within the tweakening, at a bit of a stop, because I don't want to put any more work into it without finding a second pair of eyeballs to kind of read through it. And there's a rule of thumb that I learned from another writer who I lost contact with. And he said that it's always good to have 3 people you trust go through it. So I found one person. So now I got to find 2 others. And for those of you who are not living in LA, specifically for making animation and you know, Hollywood scripts and stuff, I can understand that this is a much more difficult situation because I'm in LA, I get to have more immediate access to writers. But for those of you who do not, then, you know, online might be your best bet. If you're looking online, I think there's like screencraft.org is a place you can go to that'll give you some links to hit up. I know there's like a Reddit, like a subreddit thing for screenwriting. You know, take all of these with a grain of salt. I'm just kind of spitballing here. This was just on a preliminary Google search. I haven't like used these hardcore and like swear by it. Mostly because, again, I have a unique privilege of living in LA, so I have immediate access to writers. So I don't want to swear by anything I haven't personally used. It's just that be aware that there are some things you can look up online. So there is something. And honestly, one of these days I'll probably dedicate an entire video of how to use help that you get. And I'll see if I can experiment with some online stuff so I can at least give you people my personal experience using online stuff, even though I have, again, a better time accessing real people. Now, there could be real people who want to write, you know, nearby. So there is also that. And like if you're in college, there might be a good, I don't know, writing club or anything. And this can also help just for general writing, not just screenwriting. It could be book writing or comic writing or whatever. The kind of long and short of it is that the tweakening does require outside intervention in order to fully get through. But there are multiple steps to the tweakening. You know, it's more than just getting help. It's actually applying it, you know, because new pair of eyeballs can tell you if a scene doesn't work or if a character feels strange based on how you know, wrote them at the beginning versus the middle versus the end, if there's any inconsistencies. It's really great, and it's a great way of getting through the tweakening much faster. Because when you get used to smells, like when you enter a room that's like really stinky because of, I don't know, because it's near a garbage can or it's painted and it's a really pungent smell. But after a while you get used to the smell. It's kind of like that. After a while of going through that same writing over and over and over, you become blind to the mistakes. So you have to get new pairs of eyeballs. And that, of course, is another reason why you want to get multiple pairs of eyeballs. Because if there's another pair of eyeballs, like my friend, the other writer, there's going to come a point where after they look at it a few times, they'll desensitize themselves. So you got to take it to a fresh new pair. And of course, it always helps if they're, you know, the better they are, and of course, the more willing they are to help you, the better off you'll be. You know, because it helps to show some of your stuff to your friends. And, you know, they can give you some audience feedback, like what the layperson would see when they, you know, consume your product. But it definitely helps to get people who kind of know what they're doing, especially if you want to get it to that professional level. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it for today. You guys know the drill at this point. Hit the sacred buttons, that which we bow before in order to improve the great algorithm that we all will one day bend the knee to in the far future when the machine gods rule us all. And stay tuned for more episodes of Road to Meanie and Happyland and whatnot. And let me know what you think in the comments, all that good shit. And until next time, people, deuces.